Hey, this is Greg Hague, and well, I expect you know that. What I'd like to talk to you about is a plan that I used to double, triple, quadruple the number of commissions I earned from buyers. As you know, I am a totally focused listing guy, but the good news about the 990 system is that it generates a huge number of buyers, not only because you have more listings, and those listings produce through the ads and through the signs a lot more buyer calls, but also because your sellers are holding their own homes open, generating buyers there too. So because this produces so many buyers, I developed a way to actually increase the efficiency, the effectiveness of how those buyers were worked. And I called it my pick and pitch plan, and it went like this. There are 4 groups of buyers. I used to always look at buyers in 4 groups. First were the loyal, find a home now buyers, ones who were going to work with me or the buyer agents who I teamed with. Oftentimes those were my sellers who had sold their homes. Second group are what I consider to be the buyers who were out looking alone. They weren't with agents, but they weren't loyal. They just said, no, we don't want to connect with any one agent. We're just going to kind of look on our own. Third group are the buyers who can't buy till their home sells. I kind of figured they go also couple them with buyers who are kind of looky-loos, who really aren't that serious. And then the fourth group are the buyers who are serious, but they're working with other real estate agents. This pick and pitch plan I'm going to talk to you about is perfect for that last 3 groups of buyers. The buyers who are working with real estate agents, the buyers who are out there looking alone, who are serious, but don't want to connect with any one real estate agent, and then maybe the looky-loos or the buyers who can't really buy till their home sells. It's also a good plan. I mean, it's fine to work with the really serious buyers like your sellers when their home sells. It's very effective, but it's ideal with these last 3 groups of buyers. Here's how it worked. Before I tell you specifically how it works, though, I want you to understand that my vision of where I'd like to take you in the months and the years ahead is to building what I call a scalable real estate business, to making the transition from selling real estate to having a scalable business. This pick and pitch plan is something that I used as a key element in that component. My vision for you is that in the months and the years ahead, you will never be working buyers, that you will be a listing-focused person. All of your time will be devoted to generating listing calls, going out on listing appointments, listing property, that you'll have people who help you, listing assistants, and most importantly, you'll have a team of buyers. And just start with one person who handles the buyers, a team of buyer agents who are handling all these buyers that come from your listings, and you're on some kind of a split commission arrangement. And I built that kind of a system. It worked beautifully for me. I made a lot of people a lot of money, a lot of people who like to work buyers, like to show homes, made them a lot of money, and it made me a lot of money at the same time. And I was kind of the center, the hub of it all, because I had the listings, I had the inventory, and those listings, that inventory, they were generating all these buyer calls. So what I did is, of course, I did this for a while in my early days in real estate, but then I started teaching other agents, my buyer partners, to do this pick and pitch plan, and it worked magnificently. So here's how it went. Let's presume that you have a seller holding their own home open. They find a buyer, send the buyer over to you. They are not sure if the buyer's interested, but they do get the buyer's name and phone number. So one of you or one of your buyer partners calls this buyer, and the buyer says, no, that home's really not for me. So obviously what you want to do is first say, well, gee, what are you looking for? Neighborhood, price, etc. Why was it not the right home? And find out which of these 4 categories that buyer's in. I mean, maybe that buyer says, well, geez, you know, I just sold my home. I have no agent. I'd like to buy a home by tomorrow. I've got to get a home bought, in which case, whomever's making that call, I mean, get in the car, go over and go out, show them homes 24 hours until they find and buy a home. I'm all about that, but that's normally not the case. Normally the buyer is going to say, well, you know, the home wasn't for us, and here's what we're looking for, and here's why. And they're going to say, well, and also, by the way, we're working with an agent, or we'd rather just look on our own, or we can't buy till our home sells, or some such thing. It doesn't matter. In any of those cases, what you're going to do is you're going to say to the buyer, well, look, we list a lot of homes here. Also, we're connected with all of the agents in town. And a lot of times these agents will call us and we get to see homes before they actually get put on the market. I know a lot of times agents used to call me when they were about to list a home and the seller was, locked in and loyal to them, have me come out and look at those homes and help them determine a good price. I also had some of my agent friends help me with the same thing. A lot of times after the home had been listed and priced, the agents would call me right away and have me come over and take a look at that home so that I could pitch it to my buyer. So I tell these buyers, what you tell these buyers, you say, here's the thing. I see a lot of homes before they ever come on the market, before they're exposed to the public, a lot of times before they're ever in MLS. How would you like it if you'll tell me everything you're looking for, be very specific, if I'm out there looking at homes and I find, and these are the key words, I find the perfect home for you. If I called you and I described it and it indeed sounded like that absolute perfect home, would you come over and look at just that one home with me, and if you liked it, would you buy it through me? And if the buyers, most of the time we found the buyers would say, yeah, even if they were working with another agent, unless it was like Aunt Minnie and they just had to buy through Aunt Minnie, they would say, sure. And then we would keep them. Back years ago, I started this with note cards, these big oversized 3x5, what were they, 4x6 cards, and kept all the information. Now I would keep it, of course, in a computer. Bottom line is we kept good records of all these buyers then. Every single morning. This is a whole subsidiary operation going in. I'm kind of the center of the listing universe, and then I have started with just one buyer assistant, and what she would do is in the morning she would come in and we had all these cards of all these buyers, all these descriptions. She would go through all the new listings that came up in MLS. Brand new, first thing in the morning. She'd run out and look at the ones, matching them to the buyers, seeing which ones really fit, which ones might be the perfect home, and then just spend all day making these calls, these perfect home calls. For what purpose? To get these buyers excited about homes that genuinely might be the right homes for them. It was incredibly powerful. You might think about it, the way I used to look at it is most people will take one buyer and show them a lot of homes until hopefully they buy that home. This is kind of just the opposite. This is finding like the perfect home, the best homes that come on the market, and then showing that home to a lot of buyers. So you're working buyers on one home instead of working one buyers on a lot of homes until they buy. And it is so much more efficient, so much more effective. Some of the advantages are like when the buyer, they usually get real excited, and I found that they would come over right after work, oftentimes before dinner, and I would prearrange with those sellers, and most of the time those sellers were listed with other agents. These were just new homes that came up, and so or find out from those agents if the home could be shown like between 5:30 and 7 o'clock, brand new on the market, and most of the time they'd say yes. So I wouldn't have set the appointment until I called the buyers, but then we knew that window of time when the home was available. So when we called these 2 or 3 buyers that might be perfect for that home, we'd say, and it can be shown, we've prearranged it can be shown tonight between 5:30 and 7. Would you like to meet us there? What's really interesting is the buyers would come over hoping that would be the home. Remember, these are serious buyers. They haven't found anything yet. They're only seeing one home. We've given them this perfect home pitch, which was true. We really believe this might fit them. So they'd come over, and then one of two things would happen. Of course, they'd either really, really like the home and buy it, or they didn't. And I admit more often than not, it wasn't their perfect home and they didn't buy it, although maybe 1 out of 4 times they did. I mean, it was a very effective system, but most of the time they didn't. But that was okay. They were never upset. We'd always apologize, say, oh, we just so thought this might be the one. They actually really, really always said, hey, don't worry about it. Thank you for calling. That was so kind of you to remember us, etc. And a lot of times it gave us a chance to bond and even make them more loyal to us. So that's what I call the pick and pitch plan, an efficiency plan for working buyers, a way, instead of showing one buyer a lot of homes, to show one really desirable home to a lot of buyers. And I actually built a team of buyer agents whose job was from morning to night, 5-6 days a week, just to do that, just to find the best homes out there and pitch them to all these buyers that we kept all the information cards on. So I hope that helps you. And this is Greg Hague saying, see you in the next video.